guys, what's up? It's Joe Rady from Rady's Rise. We're out here at the Rady's Rise Ranch, and we have that truck that many people have been waiting for. This is it. This is a 2022 Ford Maverick. Our particular one is an XL trim, but before we get back into the mighty return of the compact truck, let's talk about what's going on here. Ford. They've been doing trucks for so many decades. Of course, the go-to for so many people, though, has been the full-size Ford F-150. It is that top-selling full-size truck going up against the Silverado and the Ram 1500. Of course, we can't forget the Ranger. Now, the Ranger, once upon a time, in a truck galaxy far, far away, the Ranger was a compact truck. Then it disappeared in the 90s, and it came back as a mid-size truck. This Maverick is here to fill the void of that compact truck, the small truck. So this is actually smaller than the Ranger, obviously smaller than the F-150, but Ford is promising still lots of big-time versatility out of this truck. Now, one of the big surprising things is that the Maverick is not new. And I know you're probably saying, well, Joe, how can this be? Because the Maverick truck is all new for 2022. Well, guess what? The name Maverick not only was used in Top Gun, but also was originally a 1970 car made by Ford. The Ford Maverick compact car back in 1970 wasn't really much of a sales hit. So it's going to be curious to see if now the Maverick being put, that nameplate being placed onto a compact truck, will it be the hit that Ford has always hoped that that name would bring the sales. Now, what's interesting is that this vehicle base is a hybrid. It's the only truck that comes standard with hybrid technology. Front wheel drive, that's your base. You though, if you don't want hybrid setup, can go with the EcoBoost. And that's what we have, is an XL trim with the EcoBoost. There's another truck. Some people, including the brand that makes it, they're not calling it a truck. They're calling it a sport adventure vehicle. That new Hyundai Santa Cruz, they say they have the better vehicle in that small size stature. So let's go ahead, let's find out. Should you be buying? Is this the best new truck to buy? The truck of the year, the Ford Maverick, or should you be going with that Hyundai Santa Cruz? Let's dive into our Area 51 XL trim and find out. Right off the bat, the color. You know what? It seems like this color, no matter what brand you're looking at, they have a shade similar, but I'll have to be honest, Area 51 fits the style of this small compact truck. At the front of the business, you're definitely gonna get that truck feel. Now, if you're looking at the Santa Cruz, a lot of people are saying it basically looks like a Tucson with a bed, like the El Camino version of the Tucson. And for the most part, I would have to agree. At the front end of this compact truck, it definitely looks like a truck. So when you start at the front of the business, standard, you're gonna get LED headlights. Not LED turn signals, but you are getting LED headlights. I do like the way they went with the C-shaped setup with the LED daytime running lamps. The reason why is it helps it blend in nicely with the Ranger, especially with the new F-150, F-250, so on and so forth. You can see how you're gonna get a flat black grille on the XL trim. And if you're wondering, well, Joe, what are the other trims? XL, XLT, and Lariat. Those are your three choices, your three flavors of ice cream that you could pick for your Maverick ice cream cone, so to speak. But you have your flat black. I like the way it interlocks into the C shape. On the downside, on the lower end, you do have some flat black, and I like the way they didn't try to make it look like a vent or anything. Just kind of put a simple design on it and kept it flat black. Take a better beating over time as you come across the grille of this front-wheel drive truck. And remember, you could go front-wheel drive, you could also get all-wheel drive. It is sitting on the same chassis as the Ford Escape and the Ford Bronco Sport. Something to think about. Smart, though, for Ford to use that same chassis platform, because obviously it saves money in the long run. You're gonna have the Ford Blue Oval in the center there with the flat black, functionality up top, functionality down below, and I think it just has that simple, clean truck design that a lot of people are gonna gravitate towards. Now, when you get up onto the hood, same story. It looks like a Ford, and that is a good thing. I do like the way they went with the body line and gave it a little bit extra flow, but nice broad hood to give it some strength at the front without being too over the top, because they want this to be a top seller no matter who's buying it. Come around the bend, what are we working with? I hope you like Steelies, because that's the way it goes with the XL. Now, of course, if you go XLT or Lariat, you're gonna get nicer wheels, but we have the standard 17-inch metallic silver steely wheel, simple in design. It actually kind of looks cute to me. I don't know why, but it looks like, it reminds me of like a Hot Wheels truck or a Matchbox truck that I used to play with as a kid. But the great news is you got a nice thick sidewall to help cushion the ride. That's a 65 series sidewall, 225 on the width, 65 series sidewall on our 17-inch steely wheel. And the great news is no flat black. So it's all painted all the way around the fender opening. And like I said, front wheel drive is standard. You can get all wheel drive to get the power to the ground. Coming down the side, you do have your typical badging that you find on a Ford product, the XL. I like the way they kind of work it into the fender. And then just a simple design, nothing too crazy. Flat black on the mirror caps. Everything else, same story. Flat black is the name of the day, name of the color. And that is gonna help, like I said, with price point and with overall usage. Like, these are not gonna get all scraped up as bad as if they were painted. Same story on the lower end with the side sill, the way it kind of tucks under with that flat black, but I'm liking the body lines. Overall, I'm liking the body lines. And like I said, it looks like a miniature F-150. Now, bed size, 4.5 feet. So if you need extra bed size, you're gonna have to go Ranger or another mid-sized truck, but you have 4.5 feet. Ford says you fold down the tailgate, it extends it out to 6 feet. And then of course you get some tie downs and some come alongs, and you could keep everything kind of nestled up clean out back. But as we come around the rear, you are gonna get a nice high side as well. I like the height of the bed from the side, because that's gonna allow you to have objects in here that are maybe a little bit taller without spilling over. And I think that's the big benefit of this truck, is that it's perfect for people who need that bed versatility, but yet don't want an actual truck experience overall. Because trucks ride a little differently than your standard SUV or sedan. We get to the back and they went really simple. Simple on the taillights, nothing too flashy. The Maverick name, they should have put Goose here, but they got Maverick across the bottom portion, the blue oval. You can see the nice flat black with the step. Now, if you're wondering, well, Joe, my OCD is driving me nuts. Why is the license plate over to the right? The reason why is because normally you would have a solid bumper, and then underneath the bumper, you would have your towing capability. Here, they have the plastic cover that comes off for you to be able to tow, and that's why they could not put the plate here. So I do have to admit, it does bother my OCD, but I'm trying to figure out where else they could have placed the license plate. And unless they integrate it into the tailgate, which I think would have been a bad idea, that's gonna have to work for us right now. But opening up the back, real simple. This is not a soft release. So if you drop it, it's gonna slam on you. So you just lower it. We got our spray-in bed liner. You do have 12 volts in the back of the bed, which is nice for when you're going camping, when you're going tailgating. And then you can see with that spray-in bed liner, we got the Ford badge. You got a manual sliding rear cab window. And that guy, I gotta zunk. It makes it look like a remote control car. Gotta do something different with that antenna. Not really digging it. But other than that, I like having the versatility in a smaller truck size. But why don't we go ahead? I like that. Let's pop the hood and see what's powering our Maverick. All right, guys, we got the hood popped. You do have a prop rod. Not gonna zonk it at this price point, but what do we got? Underneath the hood, we don't have the standard hybrid engine. We have the 2-liter EcoBoost engine, and I really think that many people are gonna go for the optional engine, because what are you getting? You're getting 2 liters of that turbocharged power, inline 4, 250 horsepower. Pretty substantial in this small truck, 277 pound-feet of torque. It is mated to an 8-speed automatic. And that's something to remember, that if you are gonna go with the hybrid has a CVT. This version is front-wheel drive only that we have. You can option all-wheel drive with the EcoBoost engine. 0 to 60 though, quite substantial. 0 to 60 in 5.9 seconds. Top speed 110 miles an hour. MPG is not too shabby. 23 in the city, 30 on the highway. You could tow up to 3,500 pounds, and you can have a payload of 1,500 pounds. The bad news at the end of the day is that the Santa Cruz actually can tow with their optional engine, and all-wheel drive can tow up to 5,000 pounds. So you come up a little bit short against that Hyundai Santa Cruz sport adventure vehicle, or what I like to call a small compact truck. And when you're looking at horsepower and whatnot, gonna be close, and they both have 8-speed automatic transmissions, so that's another interesting fact. But you can't get the Santa Cruz as a hybrid. But why don't we go ahead, let's get to the interior and see what the Maverick brings to the Top Gun table. All right, guys, we're inside the Ford Maverick. Come on in. You could be my navigator. Sit in that seat, be my goose, and I promise I will not eject you through the roof and cause bodily harm to you. But anyways, I know you're saying to yourself, well, Joe, we've seen your Santa Cruz videos. This being the first driving version video review of the Maverick, how much is it? Because I've seen other trims. I haven't seen an XL, and this one has the EcoBoost, so I'm very curious. So if you go XL, which is the gateway into the Ford Maverick world, with an EcoBoost, you're looking at MSRP of $23,900. Remember, the Maverick starts at $20,000, or like Ford would say, $19,999.99. Let's see what you get for the money. To the door panels. Now, the door panels are all hard plastic, but Ford did one heck of a job with the textures to not make it appear that way. Now, don't adjust your phone screen or your computer monitor or your TV. That is blue. So we're looking at a blue shade all the way around on the door panel, which actually works with this Area 51 color. We got some darker gray in the center, right above the switchgear for the window, and it kind of has this cool geometric texture to it. Kind of brings it alive a little bit. I like the exposed screws that they have in that center portion with the diagonal lines. Just little things like that kind of spruce it up. You do have a rubber cloth style armrest, but you know what? This is an XL trim. If you want nicer, they do have nicer trims. And then you probably have one of the most interesting door pockets I've ever seen. It almost looks like some kind of Lego setup where you kind of plug in Legos, but you literally can put, I would say, 3 New York style bagels, and then on the back portion of the door pocket, they actually have slots for Twinkies, Twinkie slots. Who would have ever guessed it? But very versatile door panel. Going from the door panel to the dash, same story. It is hard plastic, but like I said, this texture design they did makes it look a lot nicer. They did nice little intricate work. There's those nice exposed screws. Give it like a little bit of a truck kind of raw feel to it, more of that geometric gray setup. And then you get to the infotainment side of things. Now, what's interesting is you have this little tiny cubby here, which maybe you could put a couple small munchkins, and maybe I would say, when I say some, I'm probably saying literally 3 or 4 munchkins in that slot. So this is your munchkin slot. Up top, you do have a Twinkie tray. 2 Twinkies easily will fit there. And being an XL trim, we have the standard 8-inch infotainment system. No Sirius XM. So you do get Apple CarPlay, you do get Android Auto. Of course, there is not any navigation on this trim, but it is a nice touchscreen. You do get the Ford Pass Connect, the mobile apps. You know, you can set up your clock, whatever you got to do. It is easy to operate, but it is very simplistic. But this is the XL trim. Now, the good news is when you throw it into reverse, you do get to use all 8 inches. Not the best resolution, but it does take up all the space, and you do have trajectory, even the line for towing. So you can look like a pro when you go to tow this up to your Wave Runner and back it up. You don't look like it's your first day driving a truck ever. And then we go right back into park. We have physical knobs, which is nice, and I like the way it kind of shows on the screen there. You got all your buttons, AC vents, and our AC controls. Now, it's standard AC controls, but if you notice, I like the way they did the little tiny Maverick on the circulation of the AC, and they actually give you a digital display readout on the knob itself. These are starting to go away because of the chip shortage, so don't expect this to maybe be on your Maverick down the line. This may go the way of the Dodo Bird just like on the Bronco. The Bronco, they got rid of those on the full-size Broncos. USB-C, USB-A, and a 12-volt. And then if you always dreamed of being Willy Wonka, you're going to love this truck because you have the Wonka box. I'm designating this the Wonka box. You could actually put some Wonka bars here. You could then put some gobstoppers and then maybe some nerds. Like, remember the boxes of nerds with the 2 different flavors? Have that right there so you could shoot them down as you're driving down the road. But this is your Wonka box. 2 cup holders. This is your rotary dial for the 8-speed automatic. And once again, you see the blue, you see the gray. It looks clean. You got the ability to shut off that pesky auto start-stop feature. We got our different modes, which I'll show you when you come to the business end. We even have a Mentos holder. So when you're going to go make out with your girlfriend in the bed of this truck, just make sure you put the tailgate down so you get a little bit more extension. You can have the Mentos to freshen your breath. And then we got a couple more places for Twinkies here. Nice high armrest. Really, really good in fashion. Open it up. And guess what? You could actually put 6 VHS copies of Top Gun, and maybe on top, put a couple DVDs of that awesome movie where Maverick was the hero, the character. You could be Maverick in your Maverick, and you could be my goose. Seats, the cloth, interesting. I don't know how it's going to wear. They look pretty tasteful. Not my favorite design. Manual assist, of course, for the passenger and the driver because we are in an XL trim. Make sure to keep that in mind when you're comparing this to the Santa Cruz. This is the base, the entryway into the Maverick world. But why don't you come over here to the business end? I want to show you behind the steering wheel in this new Ford Maverick. All right, guys, business time behind the wheel. Now, one interesting fact, the next time you're on Jeopardy, I want to tell you is that even with the 4.5-foot long bed, Ford claims you could put 18 sheets, 18 4x8 sheets of plywood in the bed, totally flat. Something to think about when you're looking for a small truck, especially if you're doing a lot of work with plywood. Key fob though. Here is your Ford key fob. When you go XL trim, you're getting your base key fob. Flip it around, there's your buttons, and then you got the switchblade. Let me get my finger out of the way so I don't cut myself. Good old ignition. This is how they did it on the original Maverick back in 1970. Yay, fires right up. You got your manual seat controls, blue. Blue is the shade of the day on this Maverick. Steering wheel is gonna be base. So I'm not gonna zonk it because it's made out of rubber, but this is more like the workhorse of the Maverick lineup. So you are gonna get the rubber feel. It is a nice thickness, simple buttons. The horn button I am going to zonk because I want whoever designs horn buttons at Ford to up their game. Give me a little bit extra style. And then the dash is really, really straightforward and simple. You got your analog tach, analog speedometer, coolant and fuel gauge. And then in the center there, you do have a display that you could scroll through. Ooh, there's our Maverick. You could scroll through different information. It's 4.2 inches in size. And then you could easily, like I said, put just about any information that you want. The bad news is that this dash, I think they've been using since 1970 on the original Maverick. So I wish they would have, at least for the base, gave us a little bit nicer style to the gauges. Just a little bit. I'm not looking for full digital, but something just a little bit more kind of contemporary. But why don't we go ahead, let's get in the back seat and see how much room we have in this small size truck. All right, guys, backseat time, and here's the crazy news. Even though this is a compact truck, I feel like it's got more passenger room in the backseat than some mid-size truck. Nice size door opening. You are gonna get cloth all the way around. You got a pretty good size pocket here. You could actually have the paperback version of Top Gun. And I highly recommend reading it because it's actually different from the movie version where Goose doesn't die. He lives forever. In the back seat, you do have a single 12-volt, which is nice. And then you have an Aladdin's arcade token holder here for when you go to Aladdin's castle. Close that up. Seats, like I said, are all cloth. You do have a manual. Check this out. Manual sliding rear glass so you could throw stuff at people who are in the back of the truck. And we also had the capability, this rear seat. I'm going to go ahead and get out because I don't think I could do this while I'm sitting here. This rear seat actually lifts up. Look at this. Talk about the secret storage spot. If you need to hide something from somebody, this is the best place to hide it. But remember, secrets don't make friends. But what does make a lot of friends, if you're ready, I'm ready, let's go on throttle in this Maverick. All right, guys, we're inside this 2022 Ford Maverick. This one being, like I said, the XL trim. And the great news is we have that 2-liter EcoBoost engine. I really think that this will probably be the more popular of the 2 engine choices. Although the hybrid is a great setup for being standard and you're gonna get maximum MPGs, it does have a CVT transmission compared to this 8-speed automatic. Now, going down the road, I think the best news is this truck does not drive like a truck. And I think that that is where the customer base for this vehicle is going to lie. People who want truck versatility, but don't actually want to drive a actual truck, get that truck experience. Because let's be honest, trucks drive a little differently than SUVs and cars. And with this being on the same platform as the Escape, you are getting that same kind of overall SUV feel that you would find in the Escape. You're getting in this Maverick. Instrumentation is very straightforward. The one zonk is that it is very rental car-esque, but I do like the digital display and the information that you can scroll through very easily by using the selector buttons on the steering wheel. Nice feedback to the steering wheel as well. And I'm actually quite happy that we just have the front wheel drive version, because you'll see how it puts the power down, and you know, definitely being front wheel drive, it separates it from any other small size truck besides the Santa Cruz. Now, going down the road, very easy to navigate, very easy to park. Visibility is great. Side mirrors are wonderful. You got the Ford 360 shield of protection, and you got the different drive modes. By hitting the button right near the auto start stop button, you're gonna go through the different modes. There's normal, there's tow and haul, slippery, of course slippery when wet, eco mode, and sport mode. I'm actually gonna leave it in sport and show off the acceleration. I am gonna leave traction control on, and the reason why is that this thing does struggle to put power to the ground being front wheel drive and having 250 horsepower. Touchscreen infotainment's easy to get to. I like all the connectivity. The Wonka box is perfect for the snacks and the candies. And then here we go. Once this light turns green, we are off and running on throttle. Here we go. So you can hear the chirping of the tire. Handling though, it definitely feels good. Even with it being front wheel drive, the traction control system works great to get the power to the ground, but you're still getting the chirps, you're getting the slippage from the front tires and wheels, and that obviously will be remedied if you go with the all-wheel drive version. But like we say here on Rady's Rides, a chirping tire is a very happy tire. Brakes feel good. We got those 17-inch wheels. But I think the best part is just how it handles. Very, very easy to drive. You got a nice view out the windshield of the wide, broad hood. And then having it in sport mode, really, you could feel the difference between normal and sport for sure. It holds on to the revs higher in the rev range, and then it has a little bit extra sensitivity to that throttle pedal. But going around this bend here, communicates fairly well for a small truck. But here we go, on throttle, here we go. Nice smooth shift from the 8-speed. It's a little bit of a buzzy engine, but it is an inline-4 turbocharged engine, so that's to be expected. But like I said, navigating through traffic, it's a piece of cake. And overall, I'm very impressed with the handling. Look at this. Nice. You could have your towing capability, not as much towing capability as the Santa Cruz, but you still could tow up to 4,000 pounds, which is great. You got that nice payload capacity. But let's go ahead. We're gonna come to a complete stop. Nobody's behind us. Come to a nice stop here, and then we're gonna go on throttle. on throttle. Here we go. On the brakes. Look at this. This is fun. Obviously some understeer there. Quite a bit of understeer and push because we are trying to transfer 250 horsepower and 277 pound-feet of torque to the front wheels. And the wheels are doing the steering, the braking, and also trying to get that power to the ground. So it's gonna be great now that we have this vehicle to drive to go ahead and see what the all-wheel drive version is like. And I'm also very curious about the hybrid setup being front-wheel drive as well. Now, seats are a little bit of a mixed bag. I wish the bottom portion of the seat was just a little bit longer underneath my legs. Just a little bit. I kind of feel like I'm sitting on it instead of in it, if that makes sense. But the back portion feels pretty good. And I like the center console armrest lid. It's very, very soft to the touch. But I think overall, for the return of the compact pickup truck, this Maverick just checks off so many boxes, and at a price point that it's getting harder to find a Honda Civic at $23,000, let alone an actual truck that has payload capacity and towing. But we're gonna get it out onto the highway and see how the Ranger, oh, I made a mistake. See, I almost feel like I'm driving the Ranger with how peppy this thing is and stuff and the amount of room that I have on the interior. But we're gonna see how this Maverick drives down the road. Let me go ahead and switch lanes. Visibility, like I said, is great, especially with the side mirrors. But I think this is another area where you're gonna find it very, very pleasurable to drive is on the highway because of just how smooth it is, how low the center of gravity is compared to other trucks, and then just really a great visual reference point from the seat. It's like you're high up, but you're not too high, and you know where the back and the front of the vehicle is very, very easily. But you can see driving this traffic at around 60 miles an hour, super smooth. There is a bit of wind noise, but remember this is an XL, and you do have those larger side mirrors. But nice and smooth going down the road. Great suspension work that they did to where it doesn't feel bumpy, it doesn't feel bouncy. And this is one of those trucks, like I said, it'll easily replace a sedan or an SUV in your family's garage. And I guess that's the other nice thing. This truck is going to be so simple to park into the garage because of the size. But hopefully this gave you an overall feel of what the Maverick is bringing to the table. We're going to get back to where it all started and wrap this one up. So I'll see you in a split second. All right, guys, it's been another great day in not so sunny Florida, but you know what? The show must go on. I definitely want to thank Rhonda and the rest of the Ford team for getting us access to this Maverick press fleet vehicle. Let me know what you think. Is this the best new truck to buy? It was recently chosen as Truck of the Year. Would you park that in your garage, or would you go with the Hyundai Santa Cruz? Dying to know what you would do in that comment section. But if you're new to the channel and you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Raiders Rides family. If you want to help us keep making great content just for you in the channel, click that link in the description. Get yourself some Raiders Rides merch. Got to give it up to the best in the biz. Hashtag she is #1. Show Lori some love in that comment section. Thank you, Lori, for all that you do. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.